are maternity support workers and have you heard about them within your antenatal, postnatal, birth experience? Maternity support workers are in literally every maternity service in every single department, and they provide additional support to families themselves, but they also provide support to the midwives, to the obstetric doctors, to maternity teams overall. They are totally underpaid, worth their absolute weight in gold, and we could not be without them in maternity services as midwives. And what got me thinking about this is there was a comment on a previous post highlighting that they didn't know really what the difference between a maternity support worker and a midwife was, or what their job entailed. And when you go through your whole pregnancy, sometimes being looked after only by midwives in your pregnancy, to then come across maternity support workers, it can feel like, well, I don't know who you are, what your job role is, what you're meant to be doing. And so there's a little bit of antenatal education and that preparation and expectation to set. Now, there's huge variation in what maternity support workers can do across the country. There is now a national framework that most trusts should be looking and benchmarking themselves against about what their band 2s, their 3s and 4s can do. Band 2s will be a really interesting one to see if they're completely phased out, because a band 3 MSW is now pretty much matching minimum wage. If not, they're still slightly below. And for the level of responsibility they hold, they should absolutely be paid more. And you've got different levels of maternity support workers, and they literally are the guru of everything. If you need to know where anything is, you go and find a maternity support worker, and they will literally be able to find it in lightning flash. If you're new to a department, you're new to a hospital, go and make friends with the maternity support worker who's been there the longest. Make the beds with them, do the meal times with them, get to know them, find out about the ins and outs of that maternity unit, because they will have so much knowledge, it's unreal. But different levels of maternity support worker can do different things, so different skills that they possess. Some of them will be doing meal times and your bed changes and your general support. Your call bell will be going to find your midwives for you, for example. Some of them will be able to do your observations as a mum. Some will be able to do baby observations. Some will even be able to do things like tube feeding or the screening that's required for babies after birth. So the heel prick test, for example, the hearing screen. It depends on the level of support worker as to how many skills that they may have. It's really important that when you meet them, that they should introduce themselves as a maternity support worker. They will be working alongside a midwife. So the midwife is the registered healthcare professional, the maternity support worker is the unregistered healthcare professional, and they work together as a team. Now, maternity support workers cannot do anything with a baby inside your uterus. So they can't feel your tummy, they can't listen into baby, they can't do CTG monitorings on baby, for example. They can't provide in labour care to you either, and they also can't provide medications. But they can do antenatal education, they can do lots of public health, they can do some screening, they can do lots of other things. They provide infant feeding support to mums, and what they do is if they've got any concerns with any of the mums, they go and speak to the midwife, and the midwife is then the one going to check on them, doing the escalation in care, whatever it is that they need. I adore maternity support workers, and I honestly think they are worth their weight in gold, and highly recommend that if you do have a fabulous maternity support worker who has looked after you at some point in your pregnancy, that you feed that back, because it means the world to them when that lovely feedback comes through. Agenda for change really needs an overhaul.